I won't waste any time on this. Yes, most of the stuff I did was unauthentic, and I'm at fault for being a fraud, for the things I tweaked and edited. I feel a sense of sorrow and guilt, all because of my own doing, in which I was in the evil hands of greed and to a degree jealousy. As you guys may know in the description of the vid, Dostep put that he was in a VC with me and others questioning my authenticity regarding vids like 9 patterns in the Flames 250 tech. It caught me off guard because they had obviously planned this specific chat and questioning, which I get now when looking at everything that has happened, obviously. I answered truthfully regarding whether or not I faked any accomplishments, but the big question I did not answer truthfully is how much I did. Because there's obviously a big chunk of what I didn't do. I was obviously afraid given the state of mind I was in, not to mention I was not entirely sober when everything took place. After this call, I immediately went to tell my girlfriend and my mom, in which I had 2 mental episodes when trying to describe the whole situation out to both of them separately, in all of its detail. Both knowing well what I did was morally incorrect, they still accepted me for who I am and know I can change for the better. Which I will do by starting with this video. In no way is this video persuasive, nor is it trying for you to be sympathetic with me. But everything must be said regarding my side, and I am obviously not in the best state of mind right now. Like you can obviously tell, I feel more vulnerable than I've ever been in my life, and it has very little to do with the FCs, but rather the context behind them and how all this got brought up, or came to light, really. This is something I'm not going to go to into detail, as they are, of course, very personal, and I'd be putting names out that I wouldn't want to put out, and I'd be going over into details regarding my own trauma, in fact, the darkest event in my life. I was still conscious and aware as to what I was doing, but that doesn't mean anything knowing the grand scheme of things. Knowing the potential, too, of what is now the real outcome. I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone ever, not even my worst enemies. The people that I VC'd the morning afterwards heard the story in all of its context and all of its detail. A VC that Ghost and others were a part of, in which I mistakenly told Ghost to record so that it was raw and heart to heart. They heard everything that had to be said, and I vowed that I'm willing to do 3 things. I will publish this video of me opening up and paying my dues. I will pay the people behind the bounties back up, as of course they are skeptical and disappointed. And I know once money is involved, things get ugly. And I obviously think it's the right thing to do. And I'll talk to them in private if they're willing to. And the other thing that I'm still looking into is posting OBS recorded proof of some grinds that I still have that are legitimate. As I've seen some things that are, shut down to be fake. There are some that are not, and I'm willing to prove it as long as I can find evidence. But if I can't, I can pretty much do nothing about it. And this is all from, having to delete other recordings due to me recording other things in that present time, downloading CH packs and set lists, downloading games, and personal stuff. I know there's no such thing as a perfect apology video, especially in this regard since it's quite detailed, but I will vow to do the things I do, and if I don't, I expect the worst of this at that point. I would be more than a fraud to myself and probably to many others, and probably a lot already. I would be a coward by definition, and I would be trying my best to make sure that doesn't happen. I care a lot about people that I know within the community, and they obviously didn't hold back with their honesty, which I'd want more than anything. But I obviously don't expect them to magically accept me after this. That is up to them. To the community in general, and people I know about not only in the community but in real life, if they ever stumble upon this video, I'm sorry, and perhaps the biggest sorry I'll hopefully ever put out in my life, as I am ashamed of myself for what I've done, not only to people who thought they looked up to me, but to the people that only wanted to make this community a better place. I obviously accumulated most of the props and attention of the accomplishments I did. And I had taken from others into those specific players too. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I would be pretty mad to being in their shoes, because I know everybody worked hard to get to the point where they're at now. And to have all that shadowed and hindered, not only as their progress as a player, but to their channel. I am at total fault here. And it's some of the people I know well the most, and it pains me knowing that it was a result of what I did. And I'm sorry. And to the people I always kept in touch with, where I was their main source of motivation, to the people that helped me with these vids, whether it had been from editing, thumbnails, and guitars, I'm sorry, I'm not the person you thought I was. I am a fraud. Even if you guys care at this point, the question of whether or not I continue to play, I doubt it. I'll still play casually probably once all is said and done. And I pay my dues to everybody, and I get a lot more things cleared up. But if there's any accomplishment you expect from me, it'll probably be a full series on console. But another thing that completely shadows that in my mind, and that to me is me trying to redeem myself for my own personal sake. Of course, all coming from this situation. Whether or not you'll think I've lived up to that is up to you to decide, and I'm willing to hear it out. And if you think there's anything else I can improve on, let me know, and be honest as you can be, and in a civil manner. Me suddenly stopping to play is not entirely influenced by this event, because at some point I did want to stop for the sake of myself, my well-being, my mental state, my education, my discipline, my relationships, and many other things. But to me now, this is a wake-up call for me to be a far better person than what I am now. I will take this as an opportunity to better myself to the best of my ability. These feelings and emotions had led me to wanting to seek therapy, as now it is something that I feel as though is a must for me. Because people know me to be a hard-headed person just in general, and someone who doesn't open up a lot. But I only got caught within the negative mindset of not saying anything at all and pretending I'm fine, even with my loved ones. And if you're someone who's in the same mindset that I was in then, and I know I shouldn't be the guy you should take advice from, especially this time right now, but it's important to me. Speak out, as there will always be someone beside you. They want to see the best in you, and they'll be there no matter what, because that's what friends and family are for. If it weren't for me talking with everybody and having people I love nearby during this time for me, I don't know if I'd be able to handle myself. If it was just me, I wouldn't know the outcome of that, but chances are it'd be worse than now. I've barely eaten and slept as it is, and my mind is constantly running in circles, but it's only because I want to handle this to the best of my ability, and I hope you understand that one last time. I'm for one relieved that I got this out here, because now people will see me in almost full transparency, other than the things I did not want to get into. I really have nothing else to hide, and I'm truthfully sorry for hiding it for this long. I'm sorry to the people watching